we are back with another video in our tips and tricks series. Here we'll explain you how you can edit portrait images on different platforms like Snapseed, Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop. Starting with Snapseed. Now open the image that you want to edit. Start by tuning the image. To change the settings, you have to swipe right and left to change the intensity of that particular tuning option. Swipe up and down to choose between different tuning options. Basically, here we just adjust the saturation, brightness, contrast and overall exposure of the image. We want to change the appearance of the image by altering the colors and adjusting the shadows to create a subtle ambient effect. Now, you can use any of the inbuilt filters from the filters palette according to your style. Lastly, you can adjust the lens blur to increase the depth of field and focus of the object. When you adjust the intensity of blur, you can also change the area that you want to blur. Also, the transition can be manipulated as per the requirement and style of your image. Basically, you want to draw attention towards the object. Just keep that in mind while editing any of your images. Now your image is ready to export. Moving to Lightroom. Start by importing your image and click on Develop. You want to analyze the image and select the required gradient accordingly. Next, you can decrease the brightness to observe the shadows. Use the arrow keys to adjust. Here, you can use Tab to go to the next option and Shift plus Tab to go to the previous option, whereas Ctrl plus Z can be used to undo your last action. Next, you can adjust the highlights accordingly. Here, we are decreasing the brightness. We can then increase the contrast to make the image more vibrant. You can also reduce the shadows and adjust the whites and blacks accordingly. Additionally, texture, clarity and dehaze could be used to add details to the image. You can adjust the vibrance and saturation to change the color concentration of the image. Make sure you don't over-edit your image. Individual color change option in the HSL column can also be used. It changes the color of selected parts of the image. The shadow split toning is used to give the background effect on the image. It must not be overused. Noise reduction option is used to smoothen the harsh details of the image. Also helps to reduce the grainy effect. Individual brush selection and masking effect can also be used. Now you can use the L key to compare the original and the edited image. Key Y can also be used to darken the background for a better comparison. And the last software is Photoshop. This one can be used for retouching the skin. Start by importing any image. Press D to set the foreground and background color to black and white. Then choose the regular healing brush tool. Set your sample to current and below so that it samples the layer beneath it. Then add a layer to remove the blemishes in the photo. Use Ctrl plus N. Next, hold the Alt key and left key to take a sample of the skin. Clean the blemishes and spots from the image. Make sure you don't overdo it. The image looks better when it is realistic. Now coming to adding few minor details to make the image look more appealing. Add and create details for the eyes. Create a curves adjustment layer to take it all up so it brightens the image. We need to hide everything behind the masking layer and then draw the separate details of the eyes using the brush tool. To invert the mask, simply press Ctrl or Command I. Zoom in to the eye and use the brush tool to make patterns. Make the brush smaller and softer to make the effect subtle. Make the foreground color white. Then draw the lines outwards as shown. Save and export the finished outcome. You have now successfully learned editing on 3 different tools like a pro. Make sure you keep practicing to improve your editing skills and keep learning. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then give a big fat thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more tutorials coming up.